Hey everyone and welcome back. And this week we're going to be looking at Milan's midfielders. Obviously most notably is one that seems to be constantly in the news. I'm quite fed up with it right now. I just kind of want to know an answer of what the next step is for this player in his career, and that's obviously Frank Kessie. His contract's soon to expire in 2022 and we're left in this interesting position right now where we're seeing, booming seasons from a couple of our current centre midfielders who are at the club. There's some interesting seasons happening. Campaign so far from players out on loan, and obviously rumour mills are coming in that we might be linked with other players coming into the squad, whether it's January or in the summer transfer window. And I think it's time to look at, is Paolo Maldini, who obviously controls negotiations when it comes to contract renewals and players coming into the club and leaving as well. Is Maldini doing enough to be proactive enough in this situation? Is he leading with enough initiative? And I guess when we look back at what happened with Gigi Donnarumma and his failed renegotiation of a contract, and the way he was so quickly able to bring in Mike Mignon, obviously like the day after the Atalanta game, the last game of the season, is he going to do something very similar to that? So I think it's time to do like a slight little report card on the players that we currently own, the players out on loan, and obviously players that we're interested in this position. So firstly, let's look at the player that we seem to be talking about quite a lot, and that's Frank Kessie. He's having kind of a mixed season. I think it all stems from the injury he had in the summer. Over the summer, he obviously went out to play for the Olympics. He played, so many games last season, international football. It seems just weigh down on him, and obviously the human body can only take so much. He is obviously still 24 years old. Great age for any sort of player. He's only played 8 games this season. He's currently also out of the squad, but he should be back in time for the Torino game. Obviously, he's our main penalty taker. Did miss one this season, and obviously got that contentious red card against Atletico Madrid. His contract's expiring in 2022. I'm not in a position right now to say as if we're better off without him. We don't quite know that situation yet. I think we have to wait and see what happens in the future if that scenario does occur. What we do know is that he certainly isn't started this season as strong as he was last season, and a lot of players are stepping up, and we're going to come on to those players in a sec. The first one of those players is Benacer, and I'm recording this video. The last game I watched was obviously our recent victory against Bologna, although it was quite, it was just so tense to think we could have potentially not gotten maximum points against a side who had 10 men and then 9 men on the pitch is just mental to think. But obviously Benacer stepped up in that moment in the 84th minute and he volleyed home that winning goal. Well, that goal to take us into a winning position again. Benacer's 23 years old. He's played 12 games this season. He scored 1 goal and he's gotten 1 assist. This is certainly a more impressive season from what we've seen from Benacer. There are moments where he's not been as dominant as let's say like Kessie from last season, but I don't think he's of that similar mould of a player. He's technically very gifted, a fantastic left foot, sprays the balls, progressive football when it comes to running with the ball. He is certainly someone of his age at 23 years old we can rely upon in the near future. Is currently, and I mentioned this on a video a couple of weeks back about the players whose contracts are expiring in 2024. He's one of those players, and he's certainly a player I do feel like Maldini, and we're hearing from rumours that he's negotiating his renewal. Certainly someone that needs to get his renewal done, get rid of that buyout clause. I think it's around 50 million euros, and have him locked in for at least till 2026 or potentially even 2027. Next midfielder we're going to look at is Sandro Tonali, 21 years old. Once again, we've spoken about him on this channel many times. He's someone who's having a booming career compared to, booming season compared to last season, where he just seemed a bit sort of trying to find his feet. He was dipping his toe into this massive step up of an opportunity at a much larger club. Tonali started the season very well. 12 games, as many as Benacer. He's gotten 2 goals and 1 assist in those games. So obviously, his output is increased, and he has seen himself, the main set piece taker, whether it's free kicks, whether it's corner kicks. So we're leaning on him with much more responsibility. He's someone that we can rely upon for many years to come. Obviously, his long-term stay was confirmed last summer when Maldini negotiated that loan deal, and obviously negotiated it down to obviously make his stay here permanent. So he's currently with us until 2026. So we've got him for at least another 5 years, and I'm very much confident he's someone we can rely upon in the first team position. So we've spoken about Benacer and Tonali, but really this is where the depth comes into question. And I guess with Kessie still at the club right now, Maldini kind of knew that he had to loan out the players who were young enough, and obviously have players in the depth positions who were a bit older, and obviously come in and well, come in as and when needed. And obviously the first one we're going to look at is Timo Bakayoko, who's currently on a 2-year loan deal from Chelsea. Bakayoko, I've always been a fan of his. He's just not having not the best of starts to his, reignited Milan career, and it's his second time round. He's got 2 years, I guess, in this loan deal. So if anything, it always just reminds me of this safety blanket we have of someone in a position, in a position where we're going to need depth. He's not played many minutes. He kind of was crucial with that winning goal against Bologna, or the 3-2 goal, where he was bold enough to kind of run into the midfield and get that ball crossed into the area, which obviously came out and the Benacer volleyed in. Other than that, really, he's been struggling with fitness, had the injury. We've not seen the best of Bakayoko on his return yet to Milan, but certainly with that 2-year loan deal and that no pressure to actually activate it, because the right to buy is 15 to 20 million euros, which, kind of looking at it right now, he's 27 years old. Are we really going to activate that? But at least we have that option, I think. And I think we have to look at it in that perspective. People are calling out for him to be sent back to Chelsea in January. I don't think we should do that. I think that's a very stupid thing to do, because with these options at our disposal, it leaves us in this position, well, at least Maldini in this position, especially with the Kessie renewal still not finalised yet, or we don't even know what the answer is. We have chips at place to go like, well, we've got players in your position. It's not as if, like, if you go, we're going to be short of players. So I think it would be foolish to send Bakayoko back to Chelsea in January, and we're going to need him when it comes to the African Cup of Nations, because obviously Benacer goes out there, Kessie goes out there, so we're going to need that depth in that position. So I'm hoping for better from Bakayoko, and hopefully that's going to come from more regular minutes, obviously staying fit, and then exposure to more football. Next up, I'll throw him in as well. I know he's very much a utility player, and that is Krunich. He's 28 years old. He's someone who, he's also part of that 2024 expiry contract group. He's not someone, obviously, I want to see renewed. By that time, he'll be 30 years old. He's someone who just fills in gaps, attacking midfielder, centre midfielder. He tries. We can't attack him on his, lack of effort. He's just not of the quality we need, especially in 2 years' time, where we're going to need players to take us to the next level. Krunich is someone who's been the right person for the right time, someone that Pioli likes a lot. And also, I'm quite interested to see what future awaits him this summer. I don't think he's going to be shifted out in the January transfer window, despite the players we bought on loan. But I do think the players we have out on loan, if they come back in the summer market next year, it might be interesting to see what happens with Krunich, obviously, with a couple of years left on his contract. Are we going to make a sale for him to get a bit of money inbound? I'm kind of feeling like we probably would have done that last summer if some offers came in, but all we can really hope for him is to have a solid year, be there available when we need the depth, and really just give 100%, and that's what he always does, really. So I can't really knock Krunich for now. Okay, so I've mentioned the players that we currently have in the squad. Kessie, 1 year left on his contract. Bakayoko, he's with us on sort of a 2-year loan deal, and the other 3 players, which is Benacer, Tonali and Krunich, who are still with us for the near to long-term future. It's time to look at the loan players. It's time to look at players who are potentially going to add something to this squad in the near to long term future when they come back into this squad. And the first one we will look at is Tommaso Pobega, and it's quite ironic. Well, I make this video, we've not played Torino yet, so expecting to see him play against us for Torino. I do want to see a good game from him. Obviously, I'm doing this in hindsight of the game, but I do want to see a good game from him, but obviously not enough to make us drop points. But I do want to see the player come out of that sort of ferocity to show us what we're missing, and a lot of players want to see him back in the squad next summer, and I am someone who would like that as well. If he can fine tune his position, if Pioli can work with him. Obviously, he's more used to formations like a 3-4-3 or playing in a 3-man midfield, however it may be. So he's not quite used to the double pivot position, and I know people say, let him have that time to adapt himself into that position. Krunich did it, so why can't Pobega do it? Well, at least give maximum effort to give their best to do it. But the question is, it's always going to be like, you send him out on loan, his value just goes through the roof. He started 7 games so far this season. He's gotten 2 goals for Torino. His value is once again sky high, just as high as it was for Spezia last year. This is great for his development. He's still got a contract till 2025, and right now we're not at this position where like we have to bring him back because he's definitely going to jump into the first team side and, be a starting player. He's not, I don't see him being a better option than Tonali, Benacer or Kessie. But that might change in the summer. Who knows? But once again, I have to hammer this home. It's great to have these options. It's great to have 5 players right now in our first team squad. Obviously, one might be gone in the summer, but we've got players out on loan, gaining experience. We can't hoard these players at the club right now, have them have limited minutes, and then expect them to develop. That's only going to happen if they get regular game time, and Pobegga's getting it, and his career's evolving. So let's look at ourselves lucky that we still got this player until 2025, and let's see what we're going to do with him in the future windows. The other midfielder is Yacine Adley, who I guess if you've not been following Ligue 1, you don't quite know much about him. He came in last summer. There's not a lot we can really read from at the moment. A lot of us are biased to our watching of Serie A. We know a lot of Pobegga. We see his stats. We see his involvement for Torino. We're not quite aware of what Adley's doing at Bordeaux. And I think for him, at 21 years old, Pobegga's 22, by the way, so there's similar age range here. But at 21 years old, playing first-team football for Bordeaux, he's still, 10 games, 2 assists. We've got him on a contract to 2026. So, once again, there are these young options that we have, and we can fire them out at certain, clubs at the level that they should be developing in Europe, in leagues that are quite competitive. And they're going to get the development that they need. I look at someone like Adley, and I look at someone who's probably a bit more in the mould of Krunich. And when I say that, it's not like as in like he's Krunich's level of quality. I say that because he's very adaptable. He's someone who, if you look at the positions that he's been playing for Bordeaux this season, he's either played DM, he's either played as a box-to-box midfielder, he's either played as an attacking midfielder. So he's someone who's very adaptable. Probably a bit more, the polar opposite to what we have with Pobegga. Pobegga is utilised in the same position no matter what team he plays in. Spezia, he played in the back three, but he played as one of the 2-man midfielders or like the 3-man midfielders. Same things happened again with Torino. Adley, you're getting that sort of diversity in his position. And I don't see both of them coming back into this squad and competing for the same spot. I see Adley obviously taking over potentially Krunich's position, and does Pobegga take over one of the centre midfielder, the deeper double pivot positions, or do we go to like a 3-man midfield? These options are available to us, and I think that's, once again, I hammer home that importance that we have these options. I've mentioned 5 players that are with us in the squad right now. 1 might not be no longer with us in the summer, and then 2 who are out on loan who are definitely coming back to us. And lastly, guys, looking at players that we're rumoured to, there's only one I really want to bring up, and that is Boubacar Kamara. He's currently playing for Marseille. His contract's until 2022. Consistently, we've been linked with this player. During last season, over the summer, currently this season as well, because it seems that his fate's intertwined with Kessie's fate at this club. If Kessie does go, apparently Kamara's coming in on a free. Obviously, take everything you hear with a pinch of salt, but with the consistency with this rumour, makes me think like there's a sort of like Mignon, Donnarumma sort of deal ready to go, and especially that he's coming from France, very similar to Mignon. I would not be surprised if Kessie does not sign. We will sign Kamara on a free transfer, as soon as the last day of this season. So yeah, he's someone who, once again, is getting great minutes in the competitive side of Marseille. 11 games, 1 goal. He's someone much more astute to the defensive midfielder position. So he's someone who brings different levels of quality for the midfield. Much probably a bit more defensive based, different to Tonali, different to Benacer, different to Yacine Adley and Pobegga. What I'm trying to get here is that there are options available. And has Maldini, we can judge him on his negotiation skills. We can but we don't know everything. We don't know if he's offering enough money. There's all these rumours that come out. Kessie's agent might say that the rumoured amount is far from the reality and all these sort of things. But what we can know is at least Maldini's being proactive. We know that he is, not leaving us in a position where Kessie holds the cards that, in his hands completely. Says that I'm the only midfielder, I'm the best midfielder you have, I'm one of only 3 midfielders that you can rely upon. Maldini's somewhat kind of like laid chips out and gone like, well, you make your decision and we'll make ours. We're going to have options available to us and in different shapes and sizes, players that can offer different qualities to this side for the long to near future. So yeah, that's it really this week, guys. This is not really one where I want people to chime in and go, we should keep or we shouldn't keep Kessie. I just want us to look at our midfield situation that we have in front of us and have a bit of confidence. I guess last summer when we lost Shahamoglu and we lost Donnarumma, it was like, oh, this sucks. We're losing players on the free transfer, especially players that have a high value, high ceiling. You know, the young is old. And but I think if that does happen again, it is horrible. But like I said with the 2024 expiry contracts video, I'm hoping Maldini doesn't allow this to, you know, persist for the near future and deals with those 2024 expiry contracts. So hopefully Kessie is the last one if it comes to that. And the best way he can really deal with it is having us players in that position. Enough so we can look at it and go, well, you know what, Kessie, you can go elsewhere. At least we're backed up in that position. So that's all we're talking about today, guys. It's the midfielders that Milan currently have. While I'm filming this video, we've not played Torino yet, so I'm hoping it's another 3 points because we need to keep this momentum going, guys. And who knows what's going to happen with Kessie. So until next time, guys, hopefully another win against Torino and also Roma as well. That's probably the next time I'll speak to you as well, and have a happy Halloween. So next time, guys, Forza Milan.